Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Luke Johnson from Saints Camp. Bit of a subdued practice today for New Orleans. They get ready to ramp things up tomorrow and Friday with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So some joint practices before the preseason game coming up over the weekends. We'll talk to Luke in 15 minutes. It's What If Wednesday. Get some of those at the bottom of the hour. We'll restart our Meet the Freshman series that we've done every August moving forward. We'll get to that coming up at the top of hour number 2. Kellen Moore met with the media today, so we'll hear what he had to say. And LSU was on the practice field last night. I was there. We'll start there with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
So by now, I think we've got this figured out with LSU in fall camp under Lane Kiffin, at least in 2026. We're going to see, as the media, the same stuff every day. I was waiting to make that proclamation after a week of camp and when the pads went on, but they did last night. LSU was in full pads, and we're seeing the same stuff. I can now tell you what's going to be going on every field from the time I walk onto that practice field to the time I walk off. On the offensive field, the quarterbacks are going to start with the running backs, and they're going to do some handoff stuff. And then the quarterbacks are going to jog down and go throw with the tight ends. The running backs are going to go and work with Kevin Smith on fundamentals and cuts, footwork. The wide receivers are going to do their blocking drills to start. Once the quarterbacks finish with the tight ends, the quarterbacks and wide receivers go throw, and the tight ends work on some blocking. The offensive line, they're hitting sleds, they're hitting sleds, they're hitting sleds. The defense starts with a pursuit drill, then they go with 11 guys out there, then they go into individuals, and they work with their position coaches. It's the same 12 minutes every single time we're out there. And I tell you that to let you know what we're able to observe and what you can expect from us from a content perspective. Now, there are some things we can tell. I can tell who's in a gold no-contact jersey. I can tell who's not there. I can tell who runs through the drills first. I can tell who the position coaches praise for their reps. I can tell who drops a pass. I can tell whose passes are on target. I can tell what offensive linemen work in combination with each other when they work combo blocks and threats. So there is some stuff to be gleaned. It is not earth-shattering stuff. This is not 7-on-7. No interceptions are being thrown. No one-on-one reps are being won. No fights are breaking out. No rushing the passer. No touchdowns are being scored. That's just, we're not seeing that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, you have a reasonable expectation of what we can deliver to you from a content perspective. And y'all have heard me say this 100 times. Lane Kiffin can tell us we can watch the whole practice. He can say, never come on my practice field again. Doesn't make any difference to me. It's easier to do my job with practice access. He's got a job to win football games. Any access we are granted, I'm appreciative of. If it's exorbitant, I think that's awesome. Certainly didn't help Brian Kelly win games last year. Maybe we provided you better content in August. Maybe not. But let's get into what we saw last night. Full pads were on. Gold jerseys. Saw 2 of them. One, saw Jabari Mack, freshman wide receiver, working off to the side in full pads, in a gold jersey, running routes, but only by himself. And he was a long way away. Couldn't tell what the injury may or may not have been, but he was certainly working out. The other gold jersey, Trey'Dez Green. He's important to the team. You want to know about the fact that Trey'Dez Green has a gold jersey on. Why? What's the injury? What's the issue? He doesn't have any injury. He doesn't have any issues. Here's the deal. Trey'Dez Green was in gold all of spring football. He was not in gold the first 2 days of practice when they had no pads on. The day they put the shoulder pads on, he put the gold jersey on. Why? Well, here's the deal. If Bo Bordelon, LSU's starting left guard, were to get hurt, you could plug in the next left guard. If Jace Brown LSU's potential number one wide receiver got hurt. There's another guy, Trey Brown or Winnie Watkins, or take your pick of any of the guys that he brought in, could go play that position. Phillip Wright. If Deuce Gerald's a starting defensive tackle, had to miss 2 drives, you could throw Malik Blockton or Stephylon Green in there. There's a replacement for a lot of places on that roster. If the 6'7" basketball player at tight end gets hurt, they don't have another one. He's the only one. So what the staff has decided to do, essentially, is put a gold jersey on Trey'Dez Green as a reminder to the defense. Don't hit the freak. Don't hit the guy that's 6'7" that can jump out of the gym. Leave him alone. Okay, so he was in gold, but I didn't see anybody else in gold. So, furthermore, based on the combination blocks that we saw from the offensive line on the sleds, they never line up with 5 straight across that I see. And keep in mind, we're scanning the fields pretty quickly, but I have not seen them line up 5 across on an offensive line yet. That doesn't mean they haven't while I'm out there, but I haven't seen it. So I can't go. They've done it on defense. I've seen that. I haven't seen it on offense. But you're starting to get a sense, looking at the offensive line and the groups that are working together in combination blocks, where they're working, guys. Like Jordan Seaton, Bo Bordelon, Braylon Moore, they work in a tandem with the sleds. They're the left side of the starting offensive line. On the right side, it is Aluba, it is Weston Davis. Davis missed the practice over the weekend. He's been back the last 2 days. He's back there. So you know, as we've told you, that the starting 5 dates back to the spring. Seaton, Bordelon, Moore, Ba, Davis. 1 through 5, left to right. But what about the second group? And this is kind of what we're gleaning. I would not testify to this under oath. I would suggest, based on what we've watched, a reasonable deduction is that this is what the second group kind of looks like up front. Sean Tompkins, the Baylor transfer, I believe, is the second team left tackle. He played left tackle for Baylor a couple times last year. I think he's the second left tackle. At left guard, Jaquan Sprinkle was working there yesterday. I'm not completely convinced they wouldn't just plug Devin Harper in, right? Because he was the first guy to run with that position in the spring before Bordelon basically beat him out. But Sprinkle is working at left guard. William Satterwhite is the backup center. He was working there yesterday. And forming the right side of his offensive line with Satterwhite was Darren Stray, the Kentucky transfer, who's really big. He's 6'7". And then on the outside, you saw Devin Harper at right tackle. So here's my guess, and that's what time of year we're in. We're in guessing mode. And I don't want to put bad juju out there in the universe, but I'm covering the team. I'm giving you kind of rotation here. I think if Jordan Seaton went down, I think Sean Tompkins would play left tackle. If Bo Bordelon went down, I think you would see Devin Harper at left guard. If Braylon Moore went down, I think you would see Satterwhite at center. If Aluba went down at right guard, I think you would probably see Devin Harper. And if at right tackle Weston Davis went down, I think you would see Devin Harper. I think Devin Harper is your second guy up at left guard, and right tackle. I think Satterwhite's the next guy up at center, and I think Tompkins is the guy at left tackle. Now, maybe Tompkins would be at right tackle too. Obviously, you can't play 2 positions at once, and they're working Tompkins at the left side. So I can't know this for sure, but I think I'm reasonably deducing what we're looking at there on the offensive line. I will say this, and I phrase it this way for a reason. I did not see Winnie Watkins out there yesterday. I did not chart a Winnie Watkins pass. I have made an early decision that I'm going to try to observe practice instead of just taking roll. Because if I just took roll, that would be all I could do. And it would be really hard to notice a big catch or a one-handed grab or a drop pass or whatever the case may be. It would be hard to observe anything at practice if I was just taking roll because we only have 12 minutes. I did not see Winnie Watkins out there yesterday. I charted the passes Sam Levitt threw, and I got reps from Jackson Harris and Corey Barber and Malik Elzy and Jace Brown and Trey Wilson and Phillip Wright and Trey Brown and Roman Mothershed. I got a lot of reps from a lot of different guys. I did not chart one from Winnie Watkins, so there's a possibility that he has not been there. I would say a likelihood that he has not been there last couple of practices. No word on that, and we'll see if Lane Kiffin addresses it next time we're able to talk to him, but it's something that I thought I would pass along. It's perfectly conceivable that he came out there after we practiced or he was somewhere else doing something else that I didn't see. This is not a, throw up the red flags here. We've got a Winnie Watkins issue. I didn't see him, and I wanted to pass that along to you all as well. Anything else? Oh, the two things from practice yesterday as I go through my notebook. The catch of the day was Trey'Dez Green. There was only one ball that Sam Levitt threw that hit the ground in the entire time he worked with the tight ends and the wide receivers. This one should have. It was an out route, like a crossing route that Trey'Dez got to the other side of the field, and the ball was way behind Trey'Dez, and he just reached out and just grabbed it with one hand and pulled it back in, which was probably the catch of the day. I enjoyed that. The other thing that I thought was interesting is right when we got out there, they were working on handoff drills, which I told you they do right when we get out there every time. The first thing we see right in front of our face when we walk beyond that fence is the quarterbacks going through handoff drills. And more often than not, it's RPO stuff, it's read option stuff from the shotgun. But when we got out there last night, first thing we saw, they were working under center. The running back was way back in what was an I formation type look with no fullback, but that's the depth they were at. And the quarterbacks were taking the snaps from under center, retreating and handing the ball off in a very traditional way, which I haven't seen a lot of. And I fully expect that LSU will spend the majority of its time, the vast majority of its time, in the shotgun, no question. But they were working on some under center stuff when we got out there yesterday, which I took note of. That's the kind of thing that we can see. No alignments, no plays, no 7-on-7, but working on some under center handoffs, good. And look, anything they do to get that running game going, I'm here for it. Completely here for it. Anything they do. I just got asked in a hit that I did for an SEC podcast, like, what are you excited to see? And I was like, I'm excited to see him run the ball for 6 yards on a play. Just one time do that, because I just haven't seen it in 2 years. So they were working under center. I thought that was interesting as well. We have access to practice tomorrow morning and Friday morning. So we'll get to see before the next two shows a fresh practice report for y'all at 1 o'clock. So looking forward to that. But just laying it out there, what we saw in our 12 minutes of night practice last night. You can always read our practice reports for free on LouisianaSports.net. All right, Renaissance Homes and Pools brings you our Wednesday shows each and every week. We'll step aside, come back, and talk to Luke Johnson from Saints Camp next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. They can handle a remodel soup to nuts. One of the things that David really likes to do is to take one of those dated bathroom designs that maybe has that silo standalone shower that's kind of small, and then the big bathtub next to it that a lot of people just don't use that big bathroom, and you're kind of jammed into a smaller shower. What he'll do is he'll take that smaller shower and turn that into a linen closet, which is obviously very functional in your bathroom, and that's the perfect space for it. And then take that space that the tub is being used for and turn that into your shower space. It just transforms your bathroom right there. It makes it look more aesthetically pleasing. It's more functional for you if you take way more showers than baths. Add some value to your home as well. And David can handle all of it. Plumbing, floors, vanity, the whole deal. You call one contractor, One Bath and Closets, and David and his team can make that happen for you. So if you've always been looking at your bathroom going, man, this is not what I want, or maybe it's not functional anymore, it's just dated, and you want a refresher, One Bath and Closets can do it. Find them on the website, onebathandclosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. That's builtbyrenaissance.com. Luke Johnson covering the black and gold, usually with us on Thursdays, but going to make an exception for us this week and join us a little bit early. Does so on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Luke, how are you, sir?
Doing fantastic, man. Thanks as always for having me on.
Always our pleasure. I was reading the old Twitter timeline. Seems like offense still a little clunky these days. What's your overall assessment of Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck's offense through a couple of weeks of camp?
Yeah, it just hasn't looked good. I mean, just being frank, we're 11 practices into it. I think really you can just go on one practice where the offense kind of definitively won the day. So I mean, it's just a reality where we're at right now with this team. I think that you can explain it away in a lot of different ways. They added so many pieces to this offense. They got to figure out how everybody works together. The defense is effectively the same unit as last year, minus two guys, and they replaced them with good veteran players. So you kind of expect the defense to be ahead, but at the same time, you got to see it, and it's just whether it's Shuck being kind of not having the communication down, or if not the communication, just the timing down with Chris Olave, which I think has definitely played a part in this, whether it's just the defense that, it maybe is going to be really good this year. They've been just kind of harassing him with pressure, harassing Tyler Shuck with pressure this whole camp. I just don't know. I think it's going to be fine eventually, but through 11 days, it's just, it just hasn't looked kind of like the unit we were basing a lot of our hope and optimism on with, the Saints football team right now.
I can only go to my firsthand account, which is at LSU. We're obviously not at Saints camp, and you are, but last year, LSU could not block the defensive line. They could not run the ball to do it, and every time Nussmeier tried to drop back, he was just flushed out or had nowhere to go. And that was a consistent theme. It wasn't, there was a lot of things going on. That was clearly the issue they couldn't deal with. Is there something that happens more often than not where the offensive line either can't block them or nobody's open or Shuck doesn't know where to throw it? Or, is there an injury that comes up more than others?
No, I think one of the things that I've just kind of noticed throughout this camp is especially early on, they weren't doing a lot of vertical stuff with the offense. A lot of the passing game was kind of revolving around the tight ends and the running backs. And that to me, I was just okay, Jalen Polk retired, and then Jordan Tyson missed most of the summer, and he's just now getting his first competitive reps with Tyler Shuck under center. Chris Olave was a hold-in. But we started to see more of that lately, and it just hasn't really clicked. I do think there's something to the fact that Olave missed so much time. Both in it's not just that in training camp. It was he didn't do a lot of the summer stuff too because of the blood clots. I think his timing with Shuck is just off. Like if without having like the actual like stats in front of me, if I went back and looked at like their completion percentage, it's probably hovering around 50% right now. Whenever Shuck is targeting Olave, I fully expect that to just be normal when the season comes around. Olave is too good, and I still think Tyler Shuck is going to be a really good quarterback. To me, that's what it really kind of boils down to, is like they haven't really gotten their main playmakers going yet, and we've seen bits and pieces of it. We've seen it in spurts, but it's just never been like consistent throughout this training camp. So that's problem number one to me. And problem number two, I think Chase Young is going to be like unreal this year, and he's been given a lot of those guys problems. He's been getting into the backfield and making life really difficult back there. I think the run game, for as much as the offense has kind of struggled, I think the run game's looked pretty good. I think Travis Etienne is going to be a really nice fit in this offense. Just the way he runs seems to fit what they want to do from a blocking standpoint. He's very patient, and when he finds the hole, he goes. And I think that's going to benefit everything once they get into like live football situations. But like if we're just basing it off of what we've seen in training camp, like it's hard to be like super optimistic about what this offense can be. Like they just need to kind of start finding some consistency there.
Does Kellen Moore seem concerned? I realize he's not one to emote very much to the media.
Yeah, that is an understatement, my friend. I asked him about it today because we've kind of like bits and pieces been like, hey, you worried about Tyler? And today was really the first time he's like, it's got to be better, and like again, I really don't want to make like too much out of this. Like they still have 3 joint practices and 3 preseason games before the regular season even starts. But like at this stage, like they are not where they should be. They're not where you'd want them to be, especially if you're talking about a team that you kind of envision taking this big step forward offensively this year because of all the pieces they added. So I think that's just kind of where I'm at on it right now. And Kellen Moore is probably in the same boat. Like this is the time of year where you need to struggle, right? But just kind of what he alluded to when I asked him about it. It's like if you're gonna look clunky, this is when you do it so you can get it fixed. But it's just the fact of the matter is that it has looked clunky for 2 weeks or whatever we've been doing for training camp.
Luke Johnson's with us, covers the Saints for NOLA.com and The Advocate. What has Tyler Shuck said? Anything more? Has he been more forthcoming than Kellen Moore?
It's just the way the Saints operate during training camp. We talked to Shuck on the very first day, and we haven't talked to him since.
Okay.
So I would imagine that he's probably in the same boat as Kellen Moore, right? Where he wants them to be, he wants them to go out there and win in practice every single day. But the fact of the matter is they're working on stuff. So I'm obviously projecting a little bit for him here since I haven't talked to him, but I would imagine he sees things very similar to the head coach. And this is obviously this is the time of year to work on things, right? To try new stuff and see if it works or not. But I just think everybody who's been watching this team closely and diagramming everything and jotting every play down, it's just we're all noticing it's not where they definitely not where they want it to be at this stage. I'll just put it that way.
Anything to the effect that maybe against the Jaguars team that doesn't know what's coming as quickly, that they may find a little bit more success against rather than someone that's so familiar with them that they see every week? Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to seeing it tomorrow because that's I am going to be watching the offense tomorrow, right? My colleague and I are splitting up, and I'm going to the offensive side of the ball, and that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think the Jags have some really good defensive playmakers. They were a good defense last year, and you're getting into these situations where you don't know what they're calling, and you can't just understand fully what that team's doing because you're seeing them in practice every day, and you know what their coach likes to call. This is all new. Right, and they're doing it without film study. I'm assuming, at least, unless they're out there grinding Jags tape for joint practices. But it's a little bit more of a real evaluation. So I'm excited to see tomorrow if the offense looks a little bit better than it has throughout camp. If I think that'll tell you something about the Saints defense too, because it's one of the things is that like I said earlier, they are bringing back so much of that unit from last year, and Staley's such a smart coordinator, and I think that defense, outside of Chase Young, like I don't think you had a lot of superstar players on there, but you got a lot of really smart guys, like guys who know where they're supposed to be. It's a really buttoned up unit, which I think is contributed to the offense just looking kind of clunky. So I'm really looking forward to watching those guys against a different team tomorrow to see if it looks any different.
Open-ended question here, but obviously with the injuries to Cam Jordan, Brazee, Christian Miller for a time there, like what's your overall feel on the depth of the defensive line and who's out there right now?
I actually feel pretty good about it. Chase, obviously, he's been tremendous. I think Carl Granderson's had a really good camp. I've liked what I've seen out of Anthony Jennings and Tyree Wilson. And Vernon Broughton, I think, is somebody that they're very high on, and there's flashes of it. You can see why, which is hard to do as an interior defensive lineman with no live tackling. But he's flashed. I think he's been impressive. And what you're going to get out of Gottschall. He's going to eat up blocks on first and second down. He's going to be a good player in that regard. I think they're fine there, even with some of the attrition. I like what we've seen in the limited view of Christian Miller. He's just like such a big, strong dude. I think they're going to be okay. Honestly, like just kind of across the board on defense, I feel better about them now than I did, 15 days ago or whatever when they opened camp. I just think that some of the depth questions are not as pressing as they were to me early on. And again, like this is like we're watching Saints against Saints. Like this stuff could totally be exposed because there's like a weak spot that we just don't understand watching them go against the same team every single day. But as of right now, I feel pretty good even with some of the attrition there.
I'll ask this a different way than I asked Ross Jackson on Monday and Sharif Ishak yesterday. Do you think it's likely that the Saints' Week 9 kicker is on the roster right now?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of Charlie or Charlie Smith or Tanner Brown is going to be their guy. And I think, like, let's say for instance that Tanner Brown was the job. Like, I think they'll still try to bring Charlie Smith back in the practice squad because you still get the exemption for him. And obviously, if there's a market for him, if somebody claims him off waivers, you can't really do much about that. But so like I think there's a world where maybe the Week 1 kicker is not the Week 9 kicker, but I think they're still on the roster right now. Both of those guys are really, really talented. With Charlie specifically, I think the problem has been consistency and really just consistency in practice. He started something like 15 of 16, and then he had 2 straight days where he went 3 for 6, and that's where you start to worry and wonder if he can really be the guy in the NFL. The talent's never a question. I mean, 60 yards in, he's got the leg for it. No question about that. It's just, are you going to hit the 42-yarder every time? And I think Brown has been a little bit more consistent in camp, but both of them are like, big leg guys. I don't think it's like a situation like it was with punter for the last like 5 years, where they kept like the worst punter in the NFL on the roster for 17 games every year.
Yeah.
I think they've got somebody who's going to be a serviceable kicker for them. And if you can just live with the growing pains, you can see a world where both of them could be really good NFL kickers. But I think there's also a chance that you got some growing pains you got to deal with.
Luke, we appreciate the time. Enjoy those practices and some real football. Well, to an extent, real football this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be the Spencer Rattler Bowl, baby. I'm ready.
He's Luke Johnson with NOLA.com and The Advocate covering the Saints. You can read his stuff and certainly catch him with us every single Thursday, our Saints stuff, or every single Thursday generally, unless it's this week, which we bumped him up to Wednesday. But you can find our Saints stuff at Hunt on Saints, wherever you find your sound, or on YouTube as well. When we come back, got some interesting questions for What If Wednesday, a little bit of Saints and LSU flavor to it. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. It's August. Grass is growing. You need a new zero-turn mower. Well, you look no further than the folks at GoTro's Outdoor Power. Their summer clearance sale going on throughout the month of August. You can get up to $1,000 off select Gravely, Skag, and Hustler zero-turn. 0% financing is available as well. Again, up to $1,000 off select Gravely, Skag, and Hustler zero turns. And look, they've got the largest Hustler inventory in the state of Louisiana. National Hustler Deal of the Year in 2 of the last 3 years. It's Gotros Outdoor Power, 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge, 1 in Gonzales. If you've got a property that needs maintenance, or you've got a zero turn that you feel like might be on its last leg and you're looking to get into the market for a new one, check in with the family-owned and operated company, Gotros Outdoor Power. They've been at it for 22 years, and they can certainly help you out with that. It's Gotros Outdoor Power. They're online at gotrosonline.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
If your office is experiencing performance issues, like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Hunt Palmer Show brought to you by Marucci. Become a member of the Hitter's House over there at Marucci. 24/7 key card access to the facilities over there. You can take your hacks, work on some pitching. If you got a youth baseballer or softballer and they're year-round, game never sleeps, and everybody's focused on football right now, they can still get their baseball work in. They can still get their softball work in at Marucci in the Hitter's House. You can also take a tour, learn how they went from a backyard shed to the official bat of Major League Baseball. The best players in the world swing Marucci, and it's born right here in Baton Rouge. So take a tour, learn their story, see where they make 1,200 bats every single day. It's all there at Marucci. Check them out online. You can buy tickets to the campus tour or become a member at the Hitter's House at MarucciSports.com, MarucciSports.com. Busy second hour coming at you. In 30 minutes, we'll restart our Meet the Freshman campaign with a couple of guys in this freshman class we've gotten a little bit of a look at in fall camp. Kellen Moore met with the media today. We'll get into some of that in about 45 minutes or so. If you missed my LSU practice report at the top of the show, you can go back and catch that on demand. You can find it Hunt on LSU wherever you find your sound. But for right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, so what if you could choose a pro sports team to own? Try to take out your personal bias.
So I can't just pick the Cubs?
Nah, you can't do the Cubs. Leave the Cubs alone. Don't leave them alone.
I mean, obviously, this is rooted in the fact that the Lakers sold for $12 billion today.
After being sold a year before that.
For 10. So got turned around and made quick $2 billion. It's not a bad gig.
It's a normal day.
If you can get it. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. If you own a football team, that's 17 big ones a year.
Yeah.
I like the vibe of the baseball, and so I would lean towards the Dodgers are obviously massively lucrative. The Yankees are right there in the mix as well.
Okay.
I think that I might lean Yankees. That's just like it's a mega brand. It's in such an amazing city. I've obviously got some coin in my pocket, and I feel like that's just going to be something that's going to be valuable. That's going to increase in value over and over and over again because there's no shortage of Yankees fans and interest in the Yankees moving forward. The television contract's good. I would probably go Major League Baseball, and I would probably go with Yankees. It's I've got that much money. I need something to do. I get 162 baseball games out of it instead of the 17 football games. So I'll take it.
I ain't gonna lie.
The NFL teams are worth more.
I have my eyes solely set on the Miami Heat. I get to have all that money. I live in South Florida. I'm the king of Miami.
I thought about the Marlins, but that's a really empty baseball stadium.
The Heat, I actually get some celebrities coming to my games. They ain't going to the Marlins games.
The Lakers are a good buy.
Most definitely.
And,
Most definitely.
I could also get down with the Red Sox.
Red Sox?
But I would probably go with the Yankees.
Okay. We can go with the Yankees. So what if none of the international players rumored to be hailing to LSU are eligible?
It's a question. Here's the deal. Let me just catch you up on a little bit of this because I wrote about this in my mailbag. They have the 4 standard college transfers listed on the website. None of the international players are. We know that Jan Madar's not coming. I have not heard anything about Bryce Desert.
Okay.
I have heard that Saliu Niang has been in Baton Rouge, and I feel like Michael Ruzic, who's the 18-year-old from Croatia, I feel like he's the most reasonable to get eligible. He's 18 years old. He did play professionally, but there have been a lot of pros that have come over, and he hasn't made enough money to be ineligible, and he's certainly not too old to play. He's 18.
Yeah, 18.
So if none of them are eligible, they have to get a bunch of these fifth-year guys, and there are still a lot of them out there, y'all. Here's my thing. It's not that there are no players available. It's that I don't understand why a conversation I had a month ago where it was communicated to me that they had some commitments from some of these fifth-year guys and that they were going to get those across the finish line. I don't understand why everyone else is getting these commitments and LSU's not.
Yeah.
The lack of public information with what should be pretty straightforward transfers. They have the 4 American college transfers on the list. Where are these fifth-year guys that should just be slam dunk eligible? That is my concern. I don't know about the international guys. RJ Lewis has been here, but I don't know if he's going to be eligible or not. But the standard fifth-year guys who jumped in the portal on a transfer, and they're committing places left and right. Arizona just got one. Louisville just got one. Kentucky got one. Where are the LSU ones? I don't understand the lack of information. And so if none of the guys that are international are going to be eligible, you're going to have to load the shelves with these fifth-year guys, and they're all committing places at times. There's still some out there, but I'd love someone to show up.
Especially because school's starting. So
yeah, in 2 weeks.
We want them on campus. So what if you can keep either Kellen Moore or Tyler Shuck and the other was gone tomorrow? That's a hard question. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Neither cemented himself last year. Both made improvements over the course of the year. I would take Shuck.
Okay.
With the understanding that he could still bust. There's a possibility, but I like the odds there. There's more benefit in Shuck being great than Moore being great, even though there is benefit in the head coach being really, really good. There's no question. Sean Payton nearly got to the Super Bowl with Bo Nix last year until he got hurt.
Kyle Shanahan, I know he got over the hump, but Jimmy G, think about that.
but I'm not ready to put Kellen Moore in that group yet. So I'll if they had gotten a proven stalwart head coach and the quarterback was like brand new, I might lean coach, but I'll take my chances with Shuck with Moore going out the window, and we'll see.
Oh man, I can't even answer this question. This is too hard because we don't have enough data to show like who is actually the one pulling the strings, like some Tom Brady and Bill Belichick type of situation. So what if you could make one socially acceptable year round? Crawfish, king cake, or gumbo?
I love them all. I love crawfish. I really do love king cake, even though some people say it's overrated just because you only have it such a short time, but I think it's really good. And then gumbo is delicious. Love it, but I'm never going to eat gumbo unless it's cold outside. I'm just not. Right I don't need gumbo. It's 101 out there. I can't be eating spicy sausage soup. It's just not going to work. So gumbo is right where it needs to be. It's November through February, and that's where it's going to be. Crawfish is my answer here.
Easy.
It's my answer here. It's warm enough around here.
Every
we can
year.
go outside and eat all the time. I can eat crawfish if it's 52 degrees outside.
Yes.
Like I would be okay with it, and I'd still want to drink a cold beer with it, so that's good. Crawfish is the answer. I'll take them. I take king cake year round. I would eat it if it was around in the break room all year round. Gumbo, no, that needs to be when it's cold. But crawfish is the answer.
Most definitely crawfish. 'Cause I feel like you can go to a restaurant and order gumbo.
You can. I'm just not doing it.
You know, you can still do that. So it's like crawfish. Perfect.
Gumbo is the ticket for me with gumbo is LSU plays a night game Saturday night. I don't get off until 1. I don't go to sleep until 2:30 or so.
Yeah.
Sunday's going to be a lazy day. We're probably going to get out, get the kids up, go to church, come back, Saints are on. And then if it's cold outside, it's 48 degrees on a Sunday and I've been out, like I want to make a gumbo.
Yeah.
That is the ticket for gumbo, but I don't want it on August 3rd. It's just not going to work.
Okay, my one question would be, does it matter that LSU won that game?
No.
Okay,
it
doesn't matter.
I'm gonna make a roux. Gonna get it in the pot. Get the house smelling good. It's a Sunday dish in the Palmer house.
Okay. So, what have you got to pick between the new arena and the new outfield seating at the box?
So I either snap my fingers and I get the new arena built for men's basketball, women's basketball, gymnastics, and concerts and whatnot, or I snap my fingers and they redo the outfield seating at the box, which I think stinks. I think it's bad that they took the old bleachers from the old box and moseyed them down Nicholson and posted them up in left field. I think that's bad. If you told me I got one of the two,
only one,
I'll put the caveat in. I actually don't hate the PMAC. I don't think it's a terrible place to watch a game. I realize the seats are small, but I would take the new arena. A brand new gorgeous arena that brings in like concerts and stuff that has an entertainment district around it like they do at Texas. Like that's the ticket. I feel bad for the people that sit out in the outfield at the box in February. You just freeze out there on those bleachers, and come regional time, June 11th, it's 1,000 degrees out there. I feel bad about that. But for the good of everybody, give me the new arena. Sorry for ballpark that. 900 people that are sitting out in the outfield. Sorry about it.
So that's it for What If Wednesday.
All right, that's it for What If Wednesday. I really wish they did a better job with the outfield seating at the box. I say this all the time. Like, the box is really good in a lot of different departments that the folks that sit in the games never see. The players have a gorgeous locker room. They have great meeting room facility. They have a pitch lab that's sensational. They've got training facilities that are great. There are some really cool places under that no one ever goes that are really good for the players. The coach's office are big and they're together. They've got a great space up front where the receptionist sits and whatnot. They've got the facility out front. And then if you go up, like the press box for us has a lot of room in it. It's nice. Like they've got a spot for the PA and the visiting radio and the home radio and the television. Like there are a lot of things that are good about the box. And the seating in the grandstand is good. It's just when you get out beyond the bases and it's all bleachers, that's just a tough look. It just is.
Is it because? Well, I'm gonna say is it because was seeing the dude this year just like changed? Like it's like nah, man, we need some upgrades. Because you came back like the dude was beautiful.
I knew how good it was, and it was incredible. And I'm hoping to go to Fayetteville this year and see. But there's some creativity at a lot of the places. South Carolina's got chairbacks all the way. Arkansas's got the great berm. The dude had those berms on the side, but A&M's got that berm on the side as well.
Mhm.
Even Tennessee, they don't have a berm, but they built like a party deck out in left field that's like triple deck and creates a cool space. Same thing at Ole Miss, where they've got the place where the students sit. They've also got like a family area with the barbecue pits and whatnot. And like, there's just some character to it. And there's no character to the box. You just got bleachers going down the sides and
Okay, I see what
bleachers
you
in the
want.
outfield. They do have backs on them, thankfully, but like it's just sterile.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer. But it is what it is. All right, let's step aside, close out hour number 1 next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. That's builtbyrenaissance.com. My guy Joey Blanchard is awesome, and he can help you step by step get into the pool of your dreams. I know that school's back in now and that summer's in the rearview mirror. It's still going to be well warm enough to swim for a couple of months around here. But if you want to make sure that that was your last summer without a pool, contact my guy Joey Blanchard. He'll start you off with that consultation, and then they'll go through with the design. He'll be right there every step of the way. When they dig the pool, Joey will be there. When they fill the pool, Joey will be there. When they finish the pool, Joey will be there. He's local. He's done this for dozens and dozens and dozens of Baton Rouge homeowners over the years, and he's happy to do it for you. And you work with the owner of the company, which is a great aspect of working with a local company. If you want to add an outdoor kitchen to your pool space, have that outdoor area you've always wanted to host, especially during the fall for football season, Joey can help you with all of it. It's builtbyrenaissance.com, and you can find Joey. Just send him a text, 225-252-7745. Again, that's 225-252-7745, or online at builtbyrenaissance.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business Services. Call or click today.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. I've been telling you all month long about the great deals you can get on trucks at Fabry Chevrolet GMC right now, and they're still rolling along with those awesome deals. If you want a Chevy Silverado, a 2026 1500, you can get it for 0% APR financing for 5 years plus no monthly payments for 90 days. That's 3 months without payments. That's now until August 31st. And if you want a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500, that's 2.9 APR for 72 months plus an additional 1500 in allowance all month long. And what they wanted me to communicate is that they've got pre-owned vehicles that can meet any budget. So if you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle and you'd like to see what they have, you can go to the website, FabryChevrolet.com, and see. You can search by make and model, search by, of course, the mileage or the price, and see what they have that may be in stock for you. Make that short trip up Highway 61 in St. Francisville and go see them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, again online at FabryChevrolet.com. I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this. It's not super in-depth, and it's just my opinion in watching things with my own eyes. But I watched the Tiger receivers run through some drills yesterday, run through some routes, and just kind of trying to parse apart skill sets as I see them. Because if y'all heard me earlier this week, I was like, I just am having a hard time deciphering who's what in that wide receiver room. I don't know a huge difference between Jace Browns and Winnie Watkins, or between Trey Brown and Trey Wilson, or between Roman Mothershed and Malik Elsey, or within Phillip Wright or Corey Barber. There's just a lot of different guys that all appear to be pretty talented to me, and I just don't see someone who is consistently outperforming the rest of the guys. So what are they looking for? What is the coaching staff looking for to make those delineations to determine who's going to get the lion's share of the reps and who maybe isn't? And I keep coming back to a couple of things. There are always guys at the front of the line, and that is one of the things we can go off of. Jace Brown is always at the front of the line. Trey Wilson is always at the front of the line. Jackson Harris is always at the front of the line. Those guys are always going first, and I pay attention to that. Trey Wilson, I said this in the spring, but I'll obviously reiterate here as we get closer to the opener. His suddenness is noticeable out there. He is quicker with his change of direction, his get to full speed. His suddenness is better than everyone else out there, by my eye. And that's why he's a 5-star recruit. He's an all-SEC freshman, all-American freshman who had a big game against Georgia last year and one of the few games he was healthy for. I think he's going to have an impactful role on this team, probably in the mid-range, the intermediate passing game, the short passing game. He's noticeable to me. I've said since they started camp, dating back to the spring, that I thought Jace Brown was the number one receiver. I've seen nothing to pull me off of that. He's just smooth, in control, and makes catches. I like watching him run routes, even though they're not going one-on-one against anybody. Those two guys, to me, have a skill set that I notice when I'm out there. And then I think it's going to be interesting who the physical presence is at wide receiver. I think that I would bet on Jackson Harris, and I feel pretty good about that. But I think the staff likes Malik Elsey. He didn't do much at Illinois, but they like to watch him go. He runs toward the front of the line at times. And then I keep noticing Phillip Wright's speed is just something that has stood out to me. He might be a year away because you figure Jace Brown will be gone, Trey Wilson will be gone, Trey Brown might be gone, Jackson Harris is probably gone. There are a lot of guys who probably move on, and maybe Phillip Wright is a year away from being an impactful guy and using that speed and filling out a little bit more. Maybe he and Corey Barber are a year away. That's a reasonable suggestion. But Phillip Wright can really run. He can really run. And what I know about Lane Kiffin is he likes to create confusion by formation, motion, and route combinations, and then beat that confusion with speed. And Phillip Wright's faster than the other guys in this list. So I'm not ruling him out either. I think there's a possibility he's a real factor. I think it's Jace Brown, Trey Wilson, Jackson Harris. But I can't rule out Elsey. I can't rule out Watkins. I can't rule out White. I don't want to rule out Trey Brown from Old Dominion. It goes back to the segment earlier in this week, and there are a lot of guys vying for a lot of spots, but I'm trying to notice traits and maybe where they fit. And I think I'm sensing what the top of that depth chart is, but my confidence level, it's not through the roof. I'm very curious to see how it shakes out on game day. Not because I want to know how productive LSU is going to be. I think they're productive with whatever combination they find. They've got enough pieces to make it work. But I just don't know which pieces come to the forefront. I think it's going to be fascinating. Very interesting to see when they play Clemson. That's it for hour number 1. We'll pause for Sports Center. We'll come back in 5 minutes with Meet the Freshman, Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. It's a Baton Rouge owned and operated roofing company. Louisiana roots, Baton Rouge roots, LSU guys. But they can help the entire state of Louisiana and over into Houston. But the key is that they're local, and you can trust them in a time of need. They understand that oftentimes when roofers are brought in, there's been some sort of event, weather event, tree falls, whatever the case may be. There's a big event, and they're here to serve, and they want to help the people of South Louisiana. So if you've had something happen at your home or a storm does blow through and you're thinking about which roofer to use, you've got options. Lifetime Roofing would like to be your local option here in South Louisiana. You can trust them as they've been in this community their entire lives. You've got a lifetime workmanship warranty, 0% financing. It's Lifetime Roofing, online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Flight by Yingling. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. For the second time in less than a year, the Los Angeles Lakers are being sold to Josh Kushner, founder of Thrive Capital, and former Disney CEO Bob Iger for a record-breaking price of $12.5 billion from Mark Walter. The sale still needs approval by the NBA's Board of Governors. As the Browns' quarterback competition between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders continues, first-year coach Todd Monken outlined his preseason plan for each. He said they'll see both of them. One starts this week, one next week. Each will play about a half. ESPN NFL analyst Louis Riddick.
Look, I think right now, with the new coaching staff, a new regime, they need to kind of just take this day by day and let the chips fall where they may. Let the players' play speak for itself. What I care about is production on the football field, and not looking forward to the 2027 draft and trying to put all your eggs in that basket and go, hey, look, we don't really need to really settle this situation out this year because we're going to address it next year. They've been trying to address it next year for years.
Falcons quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will start Friday's preseason opener, has not been named the starting quarterback for the regular season, though. Michael Penix Jr. still coming back from ACL surgery, not cleared.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday. The Steelers know this is Aaron Rodgers' last ride, so what should fans expect from him? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show. This is a catastrophe. You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Officially half that work week in the rear view mirror. Working towards the weekend. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Dabo Sweeney met with the media earlier today. Old Dabo in Clemson. Poor old Clemson. Poor pitiful us. Nobody picking us. We'll see what he has to say coming up in 15 minutes. We'll see what he has to say. I am fascinated by Dabo's press conferences these days, and that comes as somebody who y'all know is not glued to press conferences, but his job security is interesting to me because he is a legendary figure at Clemson, and nobody thinks he's going to get this figured out. I have not talked to anybody who thinks that Dabo Sweeney is going to correct course after Clemson's lost 4 games each of the last 3 years, 6 last year, and get this thing moving forward. Nobody. And he knows that and doesn't seem to care. So we'll get into some of that in 15 minutes from what he had to say. LSU and Clemson inside 3 weeks away. We're going to, over the course of the next week and change, about 2 weeks before we get to game week, knock out all the freshmen in LSU's signing class this past year. Lane Kiffin had an abbreviated run to try to get these guys in the boat, and so it's not as extensive as some of the classes we have done in the past or will do in the future. But every year about this time, we run a segment called Meet the Freshmen. Let's start it now.
Meet the Freshmen. Freshmen, meet the freshmen. They're the newest Tigers on the team.
You know, when we started that drop back in 2021, it was true they were the newest Tigers on the team. Now, there's a lot of new Tigers on every team with the transfer portal, but it still works because the Flintstone theme song's weaved in there, and it's fun. It's cool. Cade made it, so I like to use it. Sue me. Don't sue me. But I like to talk about the freshmen, so we'll do it now. And we'll start with Deuce Geralds, who I think might be the best freshman on the team. He might not be the best player in this class in 2 years, but I think he is today. And he was a great high school find when LSU got him. His story is an interesting one because his dad played at Ole Miss. Y'all may not know that. But he didn't come to LSU because Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss for LSU. In fact, he had committed to LSU when Lane Kiffin was the head coach at Ole Miss. Why would an Ole Miss legacy who's from the state of Georgia commit to LSU? Well, his dad played at Scotlandville and went to Ole Miss. So his family has deep ties here in the Baton Rouge area, and he wanted to be here. Now, Geralds is not quite as highly regarded as Richard Anderson or Lamar Brown, but he's close. ESPN called him the number 2 defensive tackle in the country. 24/7 called him the number 4 defensive tackle in the country. He had offers from Ohio State, Oregon, Ole Miss, where he's a legacy, Alabama, Oklahoma, and he chose LSU. Now, he's 6'1", 279 pounds, which is not as physically imposing as Lamar Brown, not as physically imposing as Richard Anderson. But listen to what Deuce Gerald's did in his high school career. A lot of you are aware he was working with the ones in the spring, working with the ones in the fall. Know he has a chance to start the first game. You're aware of Deuce Gerald's. Are you aware of what he did in his high school days? He is Georgia's all-time high school sack leader. Do you know how good the football is in the state of Georgia? You could make a strong argument it's the best in the nation. Now, Florida will push back, and Texas will push back, and California will push back, and that's all fine and good. But Georgia is as good as any. And Deuce Gerald's is the all-time state of Georgia high school sack leader. Last year, as a senior, 37 TFLs and 16 sacks from a defensive tackle spot. If you take those 16 sacks and add his 45 hurries, 61 quarterback pressures for Deuce Gerald's last year from the interior of the defensive line. Braylon Moore talked about him this week. He said, that dude's bag is endless. Deuce Gerald's did not win solely in high school at the point of attack because he was bigger and stronger than everybody he faced. 6'1", 279 is a big boy, but it's not Richard Anderson. It's not 6'3", 330. He wins because he's strong, low to the ground, grew up in a football family, and knows how to play the position. And I think Deuce Gerald is going to have a monster career at LSU. And I think it's going to start in the starting lineup against Clemson. That's my projection for Deuce Gerald's. I think he's going to be great. Now, whether or not you can do that for extended snaps as a freshman remains to be seen. And you're going to have Malik Blockton, Stephylon Green, Don McKinley, Richard Anderson. All those guys are going to have to take snaps. But I think Gerald's is going to get as many snaps as any of them because I think he's going to be really, really, really good. He'll be in there early and often. So I wanted to start this freshman class with Meet the Freshman with Deuce Gerald's. We'll do 2 every day. Second on today, and these are in no particular order after Deuce Gerald's, who I wanted to do first. Corey Barber. Corey Barber's a wide receiver. Hails from Trussville, Alabama. And this is a player that Lane Kiffin identified early. You will hear Lane Kiffin a lot over his time at LSU, whether that's 18 years or 3. You'll hear him talk about his confidence in the valuation of players. He and Billy Glasscock feel like they really do a good job of identifying traits and putting together teams. And it's not always 5 stars. Sometimes it will be. And sometimes it'll be 3 stars. Not always Louisiana kids. Sometimes it will be. Sometimes it won't be. But Corey Barber is a wide receiver that Kiffin identified early on. And he got his commitment at Ole Miss. And when Kiffin left Ole Miss for LSU, Barber flipped. Now, after that, Rivals gave Corey Barber a 5th star. They ranked him the number 3 wide receiver in the entire class of 2026. As a senior at Clay Chalkville High School, Corey Barber had 68 catches for 1,130 yards and 14 touchdowns. Now, he is not the biggest or the fastest receiver. He's only 6 feet tall. He can't run quite like Phillip Wright. I don't know that he quite has the suddenness of Trey Wilson. But when you watch the tape of Corey Barber, his fluidity and his ability to get open and then make guys miss after he gets the ball become very obvious. And those are all big-time keys to what Lane Kiffin's trying to do. So I'm going to absolutely and implicitly trust Lane Kiffin's offensive evaluation. I think he knows what he wants in receivers. When he got to LSU, one of the first things he did was look at the class of wide receivers that was already committed to LSU and had some conversations. You know what I'm saying? And Corey Barber's a guy that they identified and they wanted at Ole Miss, and now they certainly wanted at LSU. Now, what does he do as a freshman? I don't think there's room for Corey Barber in the end as a freshman. As I mentioned in the last segment of the first hour, Jace Brown, Trey Wilson, Trey Brown, Jackson Harris, Malik Elzy, Winnie Watkins, Phillip Wright. There's a lot of dudes at wide receiver that are going to garner some playing time. And I don't think that LSU's intent on playing 7 or 8 guys. But Barber needs to get in, learn the offense, and showcase the tools that Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock saw that said, hey, we got to bring this guy in. And rivals saw him too. 5 stars, no joke. Number 2 wide receiver in the country, number 3 wide receiver in the country is no joke. But it's not because he's 6'6" or runs a 4.3 or set the state record for career receiving yards. There's just something about his ability to run routes, hands, and making guys miss after the catch that Kiffin really, really enjoyed. So I think of the 2 today, Deuce Gerald's, I expect to have a huge impact on this team right away. Corey Barber, it would surprise me if he had a huge impact on this team right away. I think he's probably a year away. But look, there are a lot of guys that are going to move on from this receiver group after this year. Playing time should be abundant. Let's meet the freshman. Day number 1, Deuce Gerald's big-time defensive tackle from the state of Georgia. Corey Barber, big-time wide receiver from the state of Alabama. We'll get into 2 more guys tomorrow, and we'll continue on, I think, till next Thursday is when we run out of freshmen. It's not a long list of freshmen in this class. I think they only had 18 or so kind of 9 days of content as we move forward here on Meet the Freshman. All right, hour number 2 here on this Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Step aside, we'll come back. We'll hear from Dabo. What do you have to say next?
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at highlandig.com. That's highlandig.com. Jonathan Carbone and his team, happy to help you out with your group and employee benefits. He's great at that. But they're also thrilled to help you out with property and casualty. This is the time of year where you got to make sure your property policies are in good shape. Have to. Make sure your building valuations are properly done. Make sure your deductible is within the appetite for your risk. Make sure you're not going to incur co-insurance penalties. Don't want that at all. Make sure that your buildings are properly rated and all the information is right on your applications, and that you're not going to get hit with an uncovered claim or penalties because you tried to cut corners on the premium side. The Howard Insurance Group has teams of experts that know what they need to look at in this part of the world to make sure that your building is properly covered and that your business interruption limit is where it needs to be. If you can't work because of a weather incident, do you have the right coverage? The Howard Insurance Group will help you out with that. Of course, as I mentioned every day, they can help you out with group and employee benefits as well. It's the Howard Insurance Group online at highlandig.com.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com. That's swingeasygcbr.com. Go by and see him. Segan at Perkins, Swing Easy Golf Club. Great spot. Go hang out and play golf a little bit different way. Sometimes you're a beginner and don't want to go out there for 5 hours, wait, lose golf balls. Just not an enjoyable way until you get up to speed to play golf. Well, go to Swing Easy. Go in one of those private bays. I promise you won't lose a golf ball. Just hit it and it bounces right back to you. And you can take as many mulligans as you want. You can practice your game there at Swing Easy, or you can play on their incredible simulator with all the courses that are available, whether it's Pebble Beach or where they give you that green jacket in April. Got that. The old course of St. Andrews. And you can play 18 holes of golf. You hit your tee shots, you hit your iron shots, chips, putts, the whole 9 yards. And it's a lot quicker and a lot cooler than playing outside. So if you're a beginner and want to get into some golf but not sure how to start that, go by Swing Easy. It's a great place under a controlled environment to learn how to play the game to a little bit. You can bring friends or go by yourself if you want to. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. They're right there, Segan at Perkins, online at swingeasygcbr.com. All right, Dabo Sweeney met with the media there in Clemson, South Carolina today, and I was going over some of those sound bites before we got into the show. And there was a lot of discussion about the Clemson offense. Of course, last year, had Cade Klubnik back, they were feeling like they were going to be a really dynamic offense, and they really were not. Now, they weren't as bad as LSU offensively, but Clemson finished 64th in the country when it comes to total offense. And I was looking up their scoring offense earlier. Let's see where they ranked in that category, because it was not pretty either. 72nd in the country in scoring offense. For out of your curiosity, where did that rank in the ACC in scoring offense? They were 11th behind the likes of Wake Forest, Virginia in scoring offense. So it was a bad year offensively for Clemson, and they decided to go out and do what Dabo does. Try to go back in time. Make sure what you're doing was really cool in 2013 and 14. So they went and they hired Chad Morris. But let's first hear about that disappointing offensive season last year.
You know, people look at last year and, you know, it's a tough year for us, but it's an outlier. It's a bad chapter in a great book that's been written, in a great journey, but it's a part of the journey. But it's not. You look. We've had lots of ups and downs, but man, it's all good. It really is. I'm grateful. I've tried to just always stay present in the moment that I'm in. That's really how I kind of live my life, because you get overwhelmed quick if you try to do it other way. I'm engaged. I'm present. It's a lifestyle now. And I'm just grateful to be here, grateful for another season and an opportunity to go compete and represent Clemson.
I simply can't take him seriously. I realize that he's got 2 national championships, is millionaire times and times over, and I sit here and yap into a microphone from 1 to 3 in Baton Rouge. Like, that is the most ridiculous answer I've ever heard. Like, yeah, well, we were awesome in offense for a while there. We had Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Taj Boyd, Sammy Watkins, CJ. We were awesome on offense. Well, last year we weren't, but I'm just grateful. I'm going to put my feet in the same place. It's just, I can't take him seriously with wacko answers like that. But let's see if we can get a little bit more in depth and see if we can get a little bit more direct with hiring Chad Morris for the second time.
First of all, you hate to have to make changes and things like that from time to time, but what we're doing didn't work. And, that's my responsibility to fix it. And you're dealing with smart and qualified people, but sometimes it just doesn't work. So that was a decision I had to make there. And then, which direction you want to go? Well, timing is everything. And, it just worked out.
Timing is everything. It worked out because Chad Morris ran some offenses that didn't score a lot of points and then took a year off to watch his kid play and was unemployed. So we said, hey, come on to Clemson and call our offense like you did 10 years ago. It's kind of the sense there. But look, Dabo's got answers for those who don't like to hire Chad Morris, who, again, hasn't run a really good offense in quite some time, because apparently people didn't like it when they hired him the first time. He's talking about Chad Morris the first time they brought him into Clemson, which ended up being a really, really good move for the program.
And then I brought in Chad Morris. And this guy, Chad Morris, coming in. And first of all, when it got public that I was bringing this guy in, it wasn't how exciting we're bringing in. No, it was a wave of criticism. I mean, I even had a senator call me and tell me I should be fired if I hired this guy and not this guy. It was a wave of criticism.
Wow. Senator phone calls. That's what I really like about politicians who decide they're going to make phone calls about offensive coordinator hires. So I'm sure that politician has got a real good concept of spreading the field, winning the numbers game on the boundary, making sure you got that protection slid to one side. I'm sure that the senator was all over that. But yeah, pick up the phone and call Clemson's football coach. That's brilliant. And I appreciate that for Dabo for bringing that up. But the question is, why did you bring him back? It was good to hire the first time, but maybe past his prime. Why again?
And just like 2011, he wasn't a real popular hire. He wasn't real popular. Sometimes you got to go back to go forward. And so we're going to run it back. And, I think we're going to have a lot of success, and I think he's here for a while. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch us get this offense back where it needs to be.
That's the Dabo Swinney right there that people are leery of. The Dabo Swinney that goes, everybody's doing this and saying this. Everybody's using their transfers, and everybody's worried about NIL. And at Clemson, we're not. We're not worried about transfers. We're not worried about NIL. We've won a lot of games this way, so we're going to do it this way. We're going to go hire this offensive coordinator because he was really good in 2012, 2013, and people didn't like him then. Well, they don't like him now, so we'll just go do that again. And he's going to be here for a long time. Well, he's going to be here for a long time because Arkansas hired him to be their head coach, and he won as many games as this Raising Cane dog sitting in front of me, which is 0. He was bagel at Arkansas. And then he's gone and run some offenses that hadn't been very good. But this is Clemson. I'm going to do it this way. This is my way. This way won national championships. So you don't worry about me changing. I'm just going to do it the way that works. And we'll see if it works. Blake Baker's team's going to be ready for him. They certainly didn't do much against him last year. We'll see about this year. Now, this is a shifting gears here in what he wants out of his defense, which is losing some significant playmakers to the NFL draft, especially on the front line.
We got to play pass defense. It's just really that simple. We got to play pass defense. We did a lot of good things last year, and we need to build on that. We did some good things. We got better in a lot of areas, really. Honestly, if you really just statistically look at us, there were a bunch of areas that we made some improvements in year one, but we were horrible in pass defense.
It was not good in pass defense. Clemson was 11th in the ACC in yards per game allowed. If you want to look at touchdown passes that Clemson allowed, it was not pretty. Teams got over on them pretty good with 18 touchdown passes through the air, and it was a bad pass defense. Now, that wasn't evident when LSU played them because LSU couldn't throw the ball and the quarterback was crippled at that point. But it was not a good Clemson pass defense, and they got a lot early in the year. We thought when LSU won that game against Clemson that, hey, this team's on to something because Clemson's going to be really good. And then you saw Clemson play the next couple of weeks, and you started to look at it and going, oh, no, are they not good? Because that would really not be great. And all of a sudden we knew that neither of those teams were great football teams when they took the field on Labor Day weekend there in Clemson, South Carolina. But Clemson's defense was not very good. And so Dabo was asked, what does he think this defense can be.
To where people have to line up and try to run the ball on you. And so if we can be what I think we can be up front, I like our guys. I mean, I like our team. We just gotta do the football stuff a lot better on all areas in our program, not just defense, but the biggest thing is just the big plays, the explosives, those kill you.
I'm curious about the running the ball thing as well, because that is going to be my biggest watching point when LSU and Clemson play each other in 2.5 weeks. Can LSU create space and run the football with some holes? Because I don't have any question of whether or not Dylan Jones, Harlan Berry, and Caden Durham are talented enough to run the ball. They are. They are talented enough to do that. But if they don't have any space, then they won't. Because Dylan Jones didn't run for a lot of yards last year at Wisconsin because they were terrible. And Caden Durham didn't run for a lot of yards at LSU last year because they were terrible. And Harlan Berry didn't run for a lot of yards at LSU last year because he didn't get a lot of touches, and they were terrible. But those three guys are talented enough, if given a chance, to gain yards on the ground. And look, this is a talking point that we'll get into a lot over the next 2.5 weeks. A lot. Because I won't be able to evaluate it at practice in the same way that we were last year in fall camp. But Jordan Seaton was not a great run blocker by the numbers at Colorado. Bo Bordelon has not started for 4 years in this program. Weston Davis had his problems last year at right tackle. There are question marks about this offensive line and what they can do running the football. I am very, very confident in Jordan Seaton and Braylon Moore and Alu Ba pass protecting. And by the nature of those guys being good, I feel good about Bo Bordelon in the middle as well. It's just a question of whether Weston Davis can hold it. In pass blocking, I don't have a lot of questions about LSU's ability. And then Levitt, I think, is going to give you an element of athleticism behind center that allows for some shortcomings of the offensive line and him to make up for that with a little bit of athleticism, which he did at Arizona State a lot. But running the ball is a different story. And if LSU can line up and run the ball on Clemson, I'll feel a lot better. A lot better. Because keep in mind, they didn't beat Clemson last year. They didn't run the ball on Clemson worth a flip. There was one play where Durham spun out at the point of contact at the line of scrimmage and ran for a few yards, but it was not a designed run that was executed well. It was a running back making a guy miss and busting out the backside of a broken play. You got to run it. And hopefully LSU can run on this Clemson defense. It's going to be interesting. You got a new offensive coordinator on both sides. Charlie Weiss Jr. with Lane Kiffin for LSU, Chad Morris for Clemson. We'll see if either team's able to get their footing in the first game calling this offense with new players. LSU's going to be a little quieter when they're behind center in the huddle rather than Clemson working against this Tiger Stadium crowd that's going to be all over Vizina and Chad Morris and this Clemson offense trying to get acclimated to playing in a real game in one of the most intimidating venues in all of American sports. So we'll see. That's a little sound from Dabo there over in Clemson. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Take a timeout. Come back. 30 minutes left to go. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. The Fabry family has been at this for 35 years, y'all, in the Baton Rouge area. 35 years, family owned and operated. And it's because they take care of their customers. It's because they understand that customer service is paramount when you're dealing with the people in this community. And there's a reason why they've been at it for 35 years, 3 locations, 5 brands, because you know what you're going to get when you show up. Most people have had a poor experience at a car lot. Pushy salesperson, maybe feel like you're getting taken advantage of or not being told the whole story. It's never going to happen at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've got awesome deals, and you can find them at FabryChevrolet.com. I've been telling you about their truck specials all month long. They're great. Want a GMC Sierra, want a Chevy Silverado, go see them. They got unbelievable deals. But you're also going to be treated wonderfully while you're there, and that's important. There's great service after the sale. Their service department services all makes and models. So if you're looking for that new SUV, new truck for the new school year, or you want to downsize, maybe get a new lease, Fabry Chevrolet GMC is happy to have you on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Ochsner brings you the Hunt Palmer Show every single day. It's back to school, and as families get ready for back to school season, Ochsner Health is reminding parents success in the classroom starts with overall wellness. Nutrition plays a big, big role, and Ochsner recommends pack those lunches balanced with protein, fruits, vegetables, whole greens, and get kids involved in meal planning so that healthy choices are more appealing to them. If you've got a student athlete in your house, make sure they're prepared with that annual sports physical. Proper hydration is crucial, especially this time of year. Got to do some stretching, get rest, at the right protective equipment. And sports are great. They can help reduce stress, build confidence, improve social skills. And it's a great way for kids to stay active and engaged throughout the school year. If you're looking for extended afternoon hours for many of your Ochsner locations, you can make weekend appointments as well. And that provides extra flexibility for busy families balancing school, work, and extracurricular activities. You want more tips for helping your family start the school year healthy and safe? Ready to succeed? Ready? Go to visit ochsner.org/BR. All right, rule changes, which really put a smile on my face yesterday evening when I saw this after I got off the air. Wanted to mention this. One of the most absurd rules in all of American sport is the targeting foul and its ejection that, if in the second half, bleeds over 7 days to the next game in the first half. Just patently absurd. Now, yes, I understand what we're trying to do here, okay? I understand. We're trying to protect people's necks. We're trying to stop getting players paralyzed. We're trying to minimize concussions. That's all really good. But we do have to use some common sense. And when a safety is coming up to hit a running back, and the running back, who's 5'9" as it is, goes down into a ball to brace for the hit, and the safety can't go over the top and has to drop down to the running back's level, and their helmets touch each other, we can't be throwing guys out of the first half a week later. It's absurd. I don't even think they should be ejected. But thankfully, targeting fouls assessed in the second half of a game will no longer require the offending player to sit out in the first half of his team's next game. That is awesome, awesome, awesome news. Now, I know the first time this is called in a stadium, whether it's Tiger Stadium or wherever, the first time this is called, they're going to say targeting in the second half, player is ejected, and everybody's going to freak out and say it's for the next game because nobody's going to pay attention to these stories in August when you're worried about getting your kid's backpack handled. But this is awesome. Now, the targeting penalty change is going to be experimental for 2026, so we'll see whether or not this limits if the number of targeting fouls does increase. My assumption is they're going to go back to the old way. But if you do get disqualified for targeting for the first time in a season, you may participate in the following game. The trial rule is going to apply regardless of which half the targeting penalty is called. Now, a player who does draw his second targeting foul of the season is going to have to miss the first half of that next game. Get a third targeting foul, you got to sit out the full game. So if you get your first targeting foul, you're out the rest of the game. Might be in the first half, might be with 1 minute left to go. First targeting, you're out the rest of that game no matter how much time there is to go. Second targeting foul, you're out the rest of the game. And you're talking about missing the first half of the next game. So I don't love this. I think there needs to be, just like in basketball, a flagrant 1 and flagrant 2. But this is a step in the right direction. They're trying to do baby steps here so as not to completely change the rule and then have the number of targeting fouls ramp up. They still want to disparage players from the targeting foul, and 15 yards isn't going to do it. Ejection will, so they're going to try. But I've always said, if you are a safety and you come off your feet, launch, crown of the helmet down, and crash into somebody's helmet, you want to eject that player, get him out. Fine. We don't have you got jacked up anymore on NFL primetime. We're not re-showing these highlights on NFL films anymore. Okay, great. You can eject somebody for something egregious. When a guy is on the ground and just so happens to duck his head to brace for contact and helmets touch, ejecting guys, it drives me nuts. But baby steps. You are ejected for that game. You're not ejected for the first half of the next game. I think that's a positive move in the right direction. The other rule change for this year. Penalty for offensive pass interference is being adjusted from 15 yards to 10 yards. The rules reserve 15-yard penalties primarily for personal fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct, all that. And a defensive pass interference is still going to be a spot foul, but a maximum of 15 yards. So what you're looking at here is they're just trying to emphasize 15-yard penalties for the more egregious things. A push-off is not going to be 15 yards anymore. Push-off's going to be 10. That's fine. First and 20. First and 25. 5 yards is a big deal. I think that's okay. The other thing, that head coaches will now have 2 replay challenges per game. If a coach wins at least one of their first 2 challenges, they're awarded a third challenge. And a challenge can only be made if a team has a timeout remaining and available. If it's successful, the team's timeout will not be charged. And I'm curious if that's going to impact the way coaches deploy timeouts. Because if you burn through those timeouts early, we may have a challenge we want to issue on a ball stepped out of bounds or a spot or something that we see, but we can if we don't have any timeouts. Maybe make you want to use that a little bit more judiciously. Because you start playing with timeouts, coaches start paying attention, right? So I think that's a big, big deal. Another change, coach-to-player communications through the helmet is now permissible for all NCAA divisions. That doesn't matter for LSU. They've still got them. Up to 2 sponsor patches are allowed on your jerseys with conference approval. A third patch is allowed in conference championship games or postseason games. Logos may not exceed 4 square inches. All this stuff is not of super consequence, but we do know that we're entering the era where you've got the patches on the jersey, where you got one for your brand sponsor, you got one for an LSU's case, Woodside Energy, and then if you play in the Sugar Bowl, you'll throw a Sugar Bowl patch on there as well. But the big issues here are the targeting, the challenges, and there's a fair catch rule with kickoffs that if I'll just read it off the page. In a change to align Division I rules with those in the NFL and high school, a team could choose to attempt a fair catch kick after a completed or awarded fair catch. The kick would be a place kick. A holder can drop kick from the spot. Remember, this came into play in the NFL a couple of years ago where everybody was like really impressed that, I can't remember what team it was, but they knew the rule that you could do that after you fair catch, you're allowed to kick. It's very, very rarely used. I don't anticipate it being used at all in the college game, but it is something that you can be aware of. The defense would be at least 10 yards away from the spot of the kick. So it's something that teams don't use all that often, but it's something that high school and the NFL have, so college got with it. I'm most concerned here with the targeting stuff because I hate it, but now at least we've stopped the zaniness of guys being ejected for the first half of next year's game. I can't deal with that stuff, so thankfully that's a thing of the past, even though if you do target, you're out for the rest of that game. Just a coincidence whether or not you get it with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter or with 1 minute to go in the second half is what it is. So that's a look at some rule changes here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I want to remind you that we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. And Joey Blanchard was mentioning to me the other day that he's not just talking to folks about a brand new pool, which he absolutely can, but they also do an awesome job of refurbishing your pool. So if your plaster's fading or it's peeling because you've had your pool for 10 or 15 years, Renaissance Homes and Pools can come in, remove that old plaster, and then reinstall new ones. And they don't have to remove the waterline tile, even though it might be a good time to do that if you're updating the pool. And that new waterline tile and plaster are going to make your pool look brand new. That remodel could expand to decking, pool equipment. You can add automation, controls, heaters, lights, valves. So if you've got a pool currently, but it's getting a little bit older and you want to refurbish it, you want it to look good as new, Renaissance Homes and Pools can do that. New pools, refurbishing pools, also outdoor kitchens. They are happy to help you out with that. Joey Blanchard and his team online at builtbyrenaissance.com, but just text Joey. That's what he tells me is the best way to get in touch with him. He's local right here in Baton Rouge, and he's happy to help you work with him the entire way. Send him a text. Say, hey, I heard about you on Hunt's show. I'd love to start looking about a pool, looking at an outdoor kitchen. He's happy to do it. 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, we're chugging along here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We've only got one more order of business left to go, and that's, of course, take it or leave it. It's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. They're online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com. Get that Generac home standby generator installed sooner rather than later. Don't be reactive. Be proactive. Be prepared for hurricane season. Be prepared for the summer storms that come through here. Give yourself the peace of mind to know I've got that Generac home standby generator. Boudreaux's Electrical Services installed it, and I don't have to worry about losing power today. It's a very, very empowering thing. It's a very comforting thing to know because we've all been there. That storm blows through, you're sitting there in your house, it's hot, it's dark, fridge won't work, can't watch TV, internet's down. It's a tough scene. I've been there, you've been there. Not anymore. Home standby generator from the folks at Generac, courtesy of Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Maybe you already have a Generac home standby generator, but you don't know who to service it. Get the Boudreaux's Boost. Call Neil and Melissa. They've been running this for 40 years. They'll send a local team out to handle your maintenance. 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. I give you the easy way every day. That's boudreauxelectrical.com.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Shout out to Renaissance Homes and Pools, online at builtbyrenaissance.com, bringing our Wednesday shows each and every day. Been a fun show today. Caught up with Luke Johnson today. Luke's out tomorrow, but going to hopefully run down his colleague Matthew Paris. I'm very, very interested to hear how tomorrow goes, specifically for the Saints offense in the joint practice with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a good defense, got some standout players there in Jacksonville, and curious to see if the Saints can't find a little bit of consistency. You're not going to see, as Kellen Moore talked today, you're not going to see a lot of starters for the Saints in the preseason games. That's just not something that teams in the NFL do. I think the Bengals are going to put theirs out there a little bit, which they did last year, and it actually potentially helped as they got off to a decent start, and then Burrow got hurt, so it didn't matter. But I don't expect to see the Saints starters, so the only reports we're going to get about that starting offense is going to be from some of these joint practices. They're not everything. I'm not here to put too much significance on it, but we do know that the offense is struggling day in and day out with the Saints defense, and I'd like to see maybe a change of scenery, maybe a defense that doesn't understand the tendencies and plays that aren't as scripted by Kellen Moore and the defensive staff, to see how the Saints respond to that, and want to see Tyler Shuck have a really nice day as well. Last year they had this joint practice with the Rams that we're told did not go very well. That's to be expected. The Rams were really good. The Saints were really not, especially at that time of year with a first-year head coach and a limited quarterback. So I'm curious to see how it goes. We'll talk to Matthew Paris about that, and I'm excited to get back out there to watch LSU practice. LSU tomorrow will practice at 10:05 a.m., so we'll be out there at 10:05. They'll have us out of there by about 10:25. I'll write up a practice report, and then we'll be back at it here with the practice report on the show pretty quickly after that. So it'll be a busy Thursday with us, with the Saints with a big practice in LSU. And in what I believe will be full pads, again, as this is a physical week for LSU. They've ramped things up. This is the physical portion of practice, and then they'll start to decrease next week before they get ready for Clemson the following week. So just kind of housekeeping stuff for you there for Saints and LSU. That'll be where we focus tomorrow's show for sure. All right, one more order of business today. It's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so former NFL quarterback Derek Carr has joined the UCLA staff as a special advisor to head coach Bob Chesney. Carr will assist Chesney and the Bruins offensive staff of game planning while also working with UCLA quarterbacks. So, will Derek Carr elevate the UCLA QB room? Take it or leave it?
I mean, can I be honest? Like,
Yeah,
I'll
be honest.
take it. Like, he knows how to
He's a
play
professional.
quarterback. He's been a professional quarterback, thrown for a lot of yards. I mean, do I want him to be the Saints quarterback? No.
Hell no.
Do I think he's got a decent job of helping, some college quarterbacks understand a few things? Probably. He's probably going to do it fairly cheap, and the weather's pretty good out there. Like, is this going to make UCLA a contender nationally? No. Do I think he's got a chance to do some positive? Probably. It's not the answer anybody around here wants me to give. But, like, if I'm being honest, like, that's probably a pretty decent resource for them.
Nah, I'll be honest. Like, it is. I can't take away that he wasn't an NFL quarterback, and I think he made a couple Pro Bowls. So Derek Carr has had success in NFL. I'm just poking a little fun.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul Skeens threw just 65 pitches in 5 innings last night against the Marlins, allowing 1 earned run while striking out 4, walking 1, and allowing 5 hits. He never reached 95 mile per hour on any pitch, a trend we've been seeing with his last couple starts. So, is Paul Skeens hiding an injury? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. There's got to be something with his mechanics, but it's terrifying for Pittsburgh because this is their only shot for him to be a stud, and he's not. And Pittsburgh is 6 games out of the wild card. That is completely without they have no shot to make that up, not because you can't make up 6 games in a month and a half, but because they have to pass 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to pass 5 teams. That's just not going to happen. So they need to do everything they can with Paul Skeens to make sure he's healthy. And if they need to run him through an MRI, if he needs to skip 2 starts, they need to figure something out because pushing him through this, throwing 94 miles an hour while they're 6 games out of the wild card, there are only 3 teams in the National League with a worse record than Pittsburgh. So they need to figure it out because he's the golden goose and they got about 2 more years left with him, and then he's going to sign a free agent deal with the Dodgers or Yankees or Red Sox. So you need to figure it out.
All right, so what would you do right here if you were the manager? Would you sit him right now? That's
not the manager's call. The manager can go up there and tell them what they think, but the general manager will tell them what to do.
Okay.
He runs baseball ops, and if it was my
if it's your call.
I would shut him down for 2 starts. I'd bring him back on September 1st, and see what it looks like. And if he's still throwing 94 miles an hour, you're 8 miles an hour off.
Yeah,
that's a big problem. Big problem.
Yeah. All right, so former MVP Russell Westbrook has announced his retirement from the NBA after 18 seasons. The 2017 MVP, 9-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champion. He earned 9 All-NBA selections. So is Russell Westbrook a first-ballot Hall of Famer? Take it or leave it.
Absolutely take it.
I'll take it.
That guy was a force. One of the great athletes in the history of the point guard position. I have not done a good job of going to the Smoothie King Center and seeing some of the great players in the world play. I haven't.
I'm going to see Wemby this year. Got you.
I did see Russell Westbrook in his prime play, and it was something. When I go to Pelicans games, I'm not as cognizant of the score as I am when I go to an LSU basketball game. I'm constantly aware of the score. The NBA, they score so much more, and I'm not as emotionally invested. So, like, all of a sudden I'll look up and go, oh, they're up 9, or oh, they're... I looked up in the 3rd quarter at one point because Westbrook pulled up and hit another jumper like he had done, and I go, he's got to have like 20 points. Yeah. He had 42.
Oh,
I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, he was as gifted a point guard as I've ever seen. That's not to say he's the best point guard I've ever seen, but like in terms of his speed, leaping ability, finishing ability,
or his era.
Yeah, I mean, he was a dynamo at that position.
All right, so last but not least, Tulane dropped these new Mardi Gras uniforms, a new City Edition uniform. So, Mr. Uniform himself, Hunt Palmer, take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
Oh,
I'll take it.
I think they're ugly.
Okay.
But Tulane is not forfeiting some sort of incredible tradition to put these on. Like, I think Tulane in the right gear looks good, but it's not an iconic brand. And if you want to wear goofy Mardi Gras stuff on your wave and have beads on the ears with crazy font and bright colors, be my guest. You're Tulane. Do whatever you need to do. I think it's ugly, but I get it. They're trying to catch attention. You're trying to be relevant. You're not going to be relevant if you put on the normal Tulane jersey, so it's fine.
All right, so that's it for a take it or leave it.
I don't need Ohio State wearing those. I don't need
Ohio
Bama
State
wearing those.
Ohio State got these, they just dropped these new black ones again. So
Awful.
Really? Oh, my.
Awful.
Those are so, oh, my God, Hunt, because you don't like the Georgia black uniforms.
But they don't, Ohio State is not black. They're red and silver.
Yeah. What's it called? Scarlet or something? Whatever?
Yeah, scarlet and gray.
Yeah, scarlet. Yeah. Like,
Scarlet and gray.
They have good color schemes. They have great colors. You can't go wrong with Ohio State colors.
uniforms.
Yeah. The
black
white
is not in them.
The white with the silver is classic.
Bad. Tennessee looks awful in black. Just bad stuff going on. That's it for us on a Wednesday, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Talked to Luke Johnson, a lot of Saints conversation, also my LSU practice report from last night. Hunt on LSU all the time for all our LSU stuff. Look at wherever you find your podcast or YouTube, Hunt on Saints as well. If you missed the entire show and want to catch that, Hunt Palmer Show, find it on demand. We always appreciate you. LSU practice tomorrow. We're talking about it tomorrow. You can read about it at LouisianaSports.net. Matt's going to drive you home next one after further view. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. How long did it take them to get to 25 locations? Well, they've been at it 116 years. Kind of figure they know what they're doing at First American Bank and Trust. Whether you're in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa Parish, up I-12, maybe St. James, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne down the bayou. If you're in Dutchtown, Jones Creek, just around Baton Rouge, if you're in Metairie, there's a First American Bank and Trust near you. If you need a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. Need a personal loan? First American Bank and Trust. Go with the local bank. That doesn't mean the small bank. 25 locations. They've got resources. Go with the local bank so when you're applying for that loan, it's made by a local decision maker. When you bank with First American Bank and Trust and you call your bank, you're getting someone in Southeast Louisiana, someone that's in your community. It's that local feel at First American Bank and Trust. Find them online at FABT.com or stop in one of their 25 locations.
People ask why